Hello? Alex, I swear to God, if this is you...
So, Rder, pronounced like a rat, is about a young girl who moves to New York City on her own, and she is being watched by a stalker who has hacked into all of her stuff. So laptop, cell phone, and then her game console, everything that surrounds her. Like many of us, we use cell phones constantly, laptops. A lot of our information is on there, our whole lives basically. So this stalker, this hacker, has access to all of that stuff. I had a friend of mine who, whose webcam light would go on and off automatically on its own, and this was probably 4 or 5 years ago, and that immediately, creeped me out, and she just thought it was a glitch, you know. So, but my mind immediately went in story mode. I was like, what if someone's behind the camera? How long have they been watching? Why are they watching? Is it just one person? You know, so I did a little research quickly, and I found out that this actually happens. And 5 years ago, I didn't know about this. A lot of people probably didn't know about this. Even to this day, some people still don't know about these things, that webcams can be hacked. Way more now, but 5 years ago, you know, I did this research, and I was like, holy shit, someone has to tell this story. Sorry, excuse my language, but someone has to tell this story. So I brought it to these guys, Stefan, Jan, and Tom, and then we knew we had to make a short film ASAP. So the feature film was actually from a short film, which you know, I'm sure, called Webcam. And that went viral and got the attention of the FBI, which was crazy. They reached out to us about it. And then, yeah, we immediately started on the feature film, which is a whole different animal.
There actually are not a lot of camera tricks. She really, operates the camera, and we're checking playback with her and seeing if it's good or not. Or a lot of times we're just monitoring all those devices. As Branden was saying, we use the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera, a little, $1,000, very well made, camera, GoPro Hero 3 and iPhone 5S. So we monitor these all through HDMI cables, which you should absolutely not do when you monitor on a professional film set. But for us it was just important, since there's no CGI in the movie, that everything is mostly done in camera. That even we wanted to use those devices so we have some kind of compression already and no depth of field. This was all really important to us, because imagine we would have had this amazing, gigantic Arri Alexa, with 150mm lens. You would get depth of field, and it would have immediately thrown out people out of the story, because that's not what webcam chatting looks like.
Yeah, it was really important that we shot it all on real devices, and that sort of authenticity was really important for the project, and was something we wanted to do.
I think the only trickery we used, if there was any trickery, was with the Blackmagic. We set it because that was our video game console camera. And it's a fantastic camera. So we basically created what looked like the video game console, and then we had to cut out a hole where the camera would be, and we had to frame it with, I think we had a wide 8mm lens, was it, or 10mm?
Yeah,
something very, very
8,
wide
9, 10, yeah.
to frame the apartment, and that was our main camera for a lot of the shots.
Good question.
It's pretty amazing.
It was great. Yeah. It was cool for us because we've been with the project for so long, and you don't end up knowing exactly how certain parts will play, and it was very interesting, I think, for all of us to just see certain parts play a bit scarier than we thought, and certain parts maybe play a little bit. There were a couple of moments that were sort of like comedy that played really well, I thought.
Right, and it was surprising because you lived with the material for so long. We've been with this for 3 years. We have no idea what works anymore, and we're so close to it.
Well, I think we know, we have an idea of what we put together works. It's just, it's really interesting to see the reactions validate that,
of course,
at the proper times, and I think that's what we saw at our premiere, and we think that will continue to happen with every audience that sees it, and we're really excited to get it out to a larger audience, because we think it's really relevant with not only the demographic that we set out for, which is this maybe age group that the actress is in, maybe a little bit younger, teenagers to young adults. But it's also interesting here to sit at the film festival to see older people reacting to it, people with daughters and sons who might have this kind of in their back of their mind and now know about it a lot more. They're reacting to it as strongly as the people who use the technology, which is awesome to see.
That was really cool. Yeah.
One thing that's really interesting is that people are changing their behavior after they see the movie, which is, I mean, that's flattering. It's like, I mean, how many films do you see that change people, what they do at home? I mean,
and that's
programmers at the festival have come up to us and they say, you know, we covered our laptop webcams because of this, and thousands of people from the short film did the same thing because it really is creepy and it happens.
But it's also like one last thing I want to add is like the movie I think is probably the most effective actually if you watch it on your laptop, because like while you're watching it you obviously looking straight into like a camera, like into the webcam, or on your phone if you watch it on your phone. But to go back to your question, what was really interesting about the first time we showed it to an audience was really, you know, like people feed off on each other, you know, like, you know, one person jumps, the other one doesn't, but you know, like all of a sudden the audience creates tension too, you know.
It's very uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
So you have people in the audience that just feel guilty because the film puts people in the position of the stalker, of the hacker watching. So they almost feel like voyeuristic, and that was interesting to see.
Yeah.
People sort of shifting around, feeling uncomfortable,
Yeah.
like, oh God, you know.
But like every laptop these days comes with a built-in camera and doesn't have a slider. You cannot deactivate that.
And the cameras are so small now because technology has, you know, gotten so advanced, and people want a sleeker aesthetic that you almost don't realize they're there anymore. They're especially on the phones. They're just the front-facing cameras are so obscured that you kind of tend to just forget about that, and that's really where you then start to just act normally and not really consider that could be a possibility.
Yeah.
Not to mention they are also microphones. So if you cover it, they're still picking up potentially sound. I collect books.
I collect airport tags.
Collect what?
Airport tags, you know, like LAX, you know, like I collect those guys.
Like I collect a Native American stuff.
And I'm the boring one with just the vinyl collection. So.
So this is a bit of a takeaway that we have, that we leave the audience with, basically to remember the film by. It's a webcam cover. So in case someone tries to hack your webcam, you can cover it right up with this bad boy.